Welcome to British Focus, your go-to channel for the latest political drama, scandals, and hard-hitting analysis. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to stay updated on everything happening across the country. Now, let's get into it, because this is absolutely excruciating to watch. Angela Rayner finds herself in a painfully awkward situation, completely exposed under the spotlight as she is grilled about a past remark she allegedly made about Keir Starmer. Did she say he couldn't run a bath? It should be a simple yes or no, but instead, we get the all-too-familiar politician's dodge. I don't recognize that. But it doesn't end there. She's then pressed on whether she once referred to Prince Andrew with a highly controversial term, and yet again, she delivers the same robotic, evasive response. No denial, no clarification, just the same weak attempt to skirt around the issue. Watching this unfold, you can't help but cringe. It's the kind of political non-answer that fuels public distrust, making her look anything but convincing.
But a new book reports that you said he couldn't run a bath. Did you say that?
Well, I'm not, there's a lot of things that were said in that book that I don't recognise, to be honest.
So
and
did you not say that?
And it's tittle-tattle, so I don't recognise what was said in that book.
But that's not tittle-tattle, that's what the woman who's now the Deputy Prime Minister is reported to have said about the now Prime Minister.
Sure, and there was lots of other things that people have said about me or anyone else, and no, I don't recognise ever saying that to anybody. I've worked with Keir now for a number of years now. I am straight talking, me and Keir don't always agree on everything.
You probably know I'm going to ask you this question and you might want to bat it away the same way you did the last one. Did you refer to a member of the royal family as something I'm not sure we're allowed to say on a Sunday morning, but in case we can bleep it out, did you suggest...
Again, I'm not making any comments about what said or not said in
did you
somebody
deny that you called a member of the royal family a nonce?
Said in a book. I'm not making any comment on what somebody suggests was said in a book, or actually the private conversations that I did have during the passage of the bill, which did get passed, and I did pass the bill, and I wholeheartedly supported the government at the time in passing the line of succession bill through Parliament.
But you're not denying it?
As I've said, the bill was passed. I had conversations with the government of the time and the civil servants around how that bill gets through Parliament, and that bill went through Parliament without any problems, and I led that piece of work.
Angela Rayner's latest interview was nothing short of excruciating to watch. It was the kind of political theatre that makes you question how people in such high positions managed to get there in the first place. Here we have the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, cornered over remarks she allegedly made about Keir Starmer's competence, and rather than taking a firm stance, either admitting or denying the statement, she resorts to the most unconvincing, slippery, and rehearsed political doublespeak imaginable. I don't recognise that. A phrase so devoid of commitment that it has now become synonymous with the art of dodging accountability. And yet, she expects the public to buy it. Let's be honest, if someone had accused her of making these comments and she truly hadn't, the natural, human reaction would be immediate and unequivocal. No, I never said that. Simple. No hesitation. No ambiguity. Instead, what we got was a fumbling, almost nervous performance where she attempted to dance around the question, as if hoping that her refusal to acknowledge the claim would somehow make it disappear. Newsflash, it doesn't. In fact, it only makes it worse. It fuels speculation. It makes people wonder why she isn't simply shutting down the accusation with a direct answer. Because here's the truth, people don't usually hesitate unless there's something to hide. And then came the second bombshell. When questioned about whether she had once referred to Prince Andrew with a highly controversial term, what did we hear? The exact same non-answer. I'm not making any comments about what's said or not said. That's not a denial. That's not even an attempt at a rebuttal. That's the kind of response that makes the average person think, well, she obviously said it. And honestly, who could blame them? If you're being accused of something serious and you truly didn't do it, you don't tiptoe around the accusation. You hit back. Hard. Yet Rayner just stood there, repeating her vague, robotic line as if she were a malfunctioning AI struggling to compute a difficult question. This wasn't just a bad interview, it was an absolute disaster for her credibility. Because when you see a politician who seems utterly incapable of standing by their words, you begin to wonder what else they might be evading. What other inconvenient truths are being swept under the rug? And if they are this slippery in an interview, How do they behave behind closed doors when real decisions are being made? This is why people have lost faith in politicians. This is why trust in the system is at an all-time low. It's not even about whether or not she said those things. It's about the complete and utter lack of authenticity in the way she handled the questions. Predictably, the public reaction has been brutal. People aren't stupid. They know when they're being lied to, or at the very least, when they're being treated like fools. And the comments flooding in online are a perfect reflection of that. Angela Rayner is such a poor liar. How did she ever become a politician? Wrote one user. Another chimed in with, it's painful to watch. How has a dim-witted, uneducated half-wit like this managed to get to the position of Deputy PM? It's extraordinary. And honestly, can you argue with them? If you were watching that interview, did you see a woman in control, confident in her words, standing by her principles? Or did you see someone panicked, scrambling, trying to wriggle her way out of a situation she wasn't prepared for? What's even more telling is the sheer level of disdain people now have for these kinds of politicians. I don't recognize that, mocked another commenter, before adding, these people have zero integrity. None. Sociopaths, narcissists, and psychopaths. The lot of them, devoid of empathy or integrity. Harsh? Maybe. But when you witness a politician perform such an embarrassing tap dance around simple questions, it's hard not to feel that way. Because it's not just about Rayner. It's about the broader issue of politicians who refuse to be honest with the public, who avoid giving straight answers, who speak in carefully crafted non-statements that mean absolutely nothing. Then there's Steve's comment, which really hits home. She's as thick as mince, that one. When you add Lammy, Miliband, and all the rest of the front bench to the equation, you know this country is buggered for at least the next 4 years. And that's precisely the issue. If this is the level of leadership we're dealing with, how can anyone expect things to improve? How can people have confidence in a government filled with individuals who seem to lack even the most basic ability to defend their own words? John put it bluntly, she is awkward because she is lying. She does recognize what she had previously said. She just does not want to acknowledge it. And isn't that just the truth of it? If she had simply admitted to the remarks and defended them, yes, I said it, and here's why, at least people might have respected her honesty. But instead, she chose to hedge, to deflect, to squirm, and in doing so, she only confirmed what so many already suspect, that she is just another politician playing the same old game. Then there's Joe, who took it a step further. Isn't this known as dissociative identity disorder? A serious psychiatric problem which qualifies a person to be sectioned. Now, that might be an extreme way to put it, but it does reflect how detached and disconnected people perceive these politicians to be. They say one thing in private, another in public, and then pretend the two realities don't exist. And when they're confronted with their own contradictions, they simply deny, as if reality itself can be reshaped with enough carefully chosen words. John summed it up with an old but fitting analogy. Rayner is an embarrassment. Stand by what you have said, and like a cheap suit, never looks good after it's had one wear. Rayner, you are already known for backtracking, so don't lie. And that's really what it boils down to. Politicians who backtrack, who dodge, who refuse to own their words, never come out looking good. They come out looking weak, untrustworthy, and undeserving of the positions they hold. And finally, Drake's reaction. Wow, wow, wow. Talk about caught out. That's all that really needs to be said, isn't it? Rayner got caught out. And rather than handle it with dignity, she crumbled under the pressure. It was embarrassing, it was revealing, and most importantly, it was a perfect example of everything wrong with modern politics.